Imagine being 82 years old and still shaping how millions of people think about justice. Imagine your voice, sharp, unfiltered, and instantly recognizable, still commanding more attention than most world leaders. Judge Judy didn't vanish when her iconic show ended. In fact, she's more active now than ever before. And while she's never been one to flaunt her success, let's just say she didn't walk away from television empty-handed. But what she's doing today, that might surprise you even more. Before she became a television icon, Judith Sheindlin was already known in New York's family court system for one thing, being uncompromising. Her courtroom style was razor-sharp, no-nonsense, and unapologetically direct. In a world of delays and technicalities, she cut straight to the heart of every case, making decisions that were quick, clear, and brutally fair. Her reputation caught the attention of TV producers who believed her unfiltered delivery could captivate a national audience. They were right.
When Judge Judy premiered in 1996, it wasn't just another daytime courtroom show. It was an entirely new format, built around her persona, her authority, and her refusal to entertain excuses. Over the next 25 seasons, she transformed from a working judge into a cultural phenomenon. Her trademark glare, cutting questions, and viral one-liners turned every episode into a must-watch event. But it wasn't just her presence that commanded attention, it was her paycheck. At the peak of her career, Judge Judy was earning a staggering $47 million per year, more than any talk show host, any daytime anchor, and even many primetime stars. She once reportedly filmed all her episodes for the entire season in just 52 days. In total, her earnings from the show and syndication deals exceeded $440 million, placing her among the highest paid figures in television history. But for Judy, it was never just about the money. Her mission, to simplify justice and expose nonsense, was only getting started. And once Judge Judy ended, she didn't step away. She doubled down. When Judge Judy wrapped its legendary 25-year run in 2021, the industry buzzed with a single question. Would Judy Sheindlin finally walk away? After all, she had shattered every television record imaginable, redefined an entire genre, and amassed hundreds of millions along the way. She had nothing left to prove. But Judy never played by expectations. Instead of slowing down, she surprised everyone by launching something entirely new, Judy Justice. This wasn't just a revival or a rebrand. Judy Justice was a calculated evolution. The show premiered on Amazon Freevee, making Judy one of the first daytime-style personalities to transition fully into the streaming world. And she didn't just dip her toes in, she dove headfirst into a format built for a modern audience. The cases were more detailed, the production more polished, and the set redesigned from the ground up. Even her wardrobe subtly changed. Less formal robes, more approachable presence, but the biggest shift wasn't visual, it was personal. Judy Justice introduced viewers to a brand new cast anchored by her own granddaughter, Sarah Rose, who served as the show's legal analyst. The choice wasn't just sentimental, it was strategic. Sarah brought a mesh legal voice to the table, often offering contrasting opinions to Judy's decisions. Their on-screen dynamic revealed a side of Judy rarely seen, not just the enforcer, but the mentor. It was a generational handoff in real time, and audiences responded to it. What made this transition even more impressive was the timing. Most TV personalities of Judy's generation either retired quietly or faded into syndication. But she pushed forward, embracing the chaos of the digital age and proving she could command an audience far beyond the cable box. Judy Justice drew millions of viewers, many of them discovering her for the first time. For younger viewers unfamiliar with her courtroom dominance in the late 90s and early 2000s, this was their introduction. And it didn't disappoint. There was no nostalgia act here, no desperate attempt to cling to the past. This was Judy rewriting her legacy in real time, using a new platform, a new team, and a new voice to stay relevant and in control. Judy Justice was the proof that her influence wasn't tied to a single show. It was tied to who she is. And the success of this new chapter, it laid the groundwork for something even more ambitious. While Judy Justice proved that she could reinvent herself for a new generation, Judy Sheindlin wasn't done expanding. In 2023, she quietly stepped into a new role, executive producer of a bold legal series titled Tribunal Justice. And though she doesn't appear on camera, make no mistake, her fingerprints are all over it. The show reunites some familiar faces. Most notably, Petrie Hawkins Bird, Judy's longtime bailiff from Judge Judy, returned. This time not just as a side presence, but as one of the three presiding judges. Joining him were two other legal veterans, Tanya Acker, who previously appeared on Hot Bench, and Adam Levy, a former district attorney and, yes, Judy's own son. The dynamic between the three judges is entirely different from Judy's past formats. Instead of one voice dominating the courtroom, Tribunal Justice brings a collaborative, often clashing perspective to each case. Viewers see debate, disagreement, and deliberation in real time. But what truly sets the show apart is its structure. Unlike Judy's solo approach, Tribunal Justice operates like a legal roundtable. Three powerful personalities evaluating evidence, questioning each other's reasoning, and occasionally overturning each other's instincts. The drama doesn't just come from the litigants. It comes from the bench itself. Behind the scenes, Judy made it clear that this show wasn't about recreating her past success. It was about reimagining how courtroom television could evolve. As executive producer, she shaped every element, from casting to case selection to tone. And while she stayed off camera, her philosophy still runs through every frame. Zero tolerance for nonsense, total focus on facts, and respect for the law above all else. The result? A completely different energy from anything she's done before, but no less compelling. Critics praise Tribunal Justice for its intellectual rigor and for taking risks in a genre often stuck in formula. And fans? They tuned in not just because of who was on screen, but because they knew who was behind it. Judy wasn't trying to stay in the spotlight. She was proving she could build one and decide exactly who stood in it. By 2025, Judith Sheindlin had already proven she could dominate traditional television, reinvent herself for streaming, and build courtroom franchises from behind the scenes. But her next project was something different. More ambitious, more reflective, and far more controversial. It was called Justice on Trial. Premiering on Amazon Prime Video in mid-2025, Justice on Trial is unlike anything she's done before. Instead of handling small claims disputes or scripted arbitration, this new docuseries reconstructs the most polarizing legal cases in American history and puts them back under the spotlight, not just to revisit the facts, but to challenge the verdicts themselves. Each episode dives into one high-profile case, from free speech battles like Snyder v. Phelps to infamous murder trials. With reenactments, expert commentary, and legal analysis, the series doesn't tell viewers what to believe. It forces them to decide for themselves. And hovering behind it all is Judy's guiding principle. Justice should never be comfortable, and truth should never be convenient. But make no mistake, Judy isn't the star of this series. She isn't shouting from the bench or scolding litigants. Instead, she's the architect. As executive producer, she developed the concept to provoke public thought, not just courtroom drama. It's a move that reflects her deeper ambition to shape not only how we entertain ourselves with justice, but how we think about it. And Justice on Trial doesn't shy away from criticism. Legal scholars, political commentators, and online communities have already weighed in, some praising the show for educating the public, others accusing it of manipulating opinion. Judy expected the backlash. In fact, she invited it. She once said in an interview, "If everyone agrees with you, you're probably not telling the truth." The series is sharp, unsettling, and designed to linger in your mind long after the episode ends. It's not about verdicts, it's about values. And in a media landscape obsessed with speed and sound bites, Judy has chosen something far riskier: reflection. With Justice on Trial already stirring debate, it didn't take long before real-life controversy found its way to Judy's doorstep. In 2024, headlines erupted claiming that Judith Sheindlin had changed her stance on one of the most infamous murder cases in American history, the Menendez brothers. The Menendez case, in which two brothers were convicted of brutally ending their parents' lives in 1989, has resurfaced in recent years thanks to TikTok documentaries and viral conspiracy theories. Some online movements claim the brothers were victims, not killers. Suddenly, decades-old courtroom footage was being reinterpreted by influencers with no legal background, and the public conversation began to shift. Then came a bombshell. A well-known media outlet published a report suggesting that Judy supported reopening the case. It cited anonymous sources and offered zero direct quotes, but the headline spread like wildfire, and Judy wasn't having it. Within days, she launched a defamation lawsuit, demanding a full retraction and publicly refuting the claim. In a rare public statement, she was clear. She had never changed her opinion on the case, and she stood firmly by the original conviction. She added, "Justice isn't about revisionist sympathy. It's about facts, and those facts haven't changed." The move sent a strong message, not just to the media, but to a generation increasingly relying on social platforms for legal narratives. Judy wasn't just defending her reputation. She was defending the idea that justice shouldn't be rewritten by clicks and trends. What made this moment so powerful wasn't the lawsuit itself, it was what it revealed. Even at 82, Judith Sheindlin isn't passive. She's still a fighter, not just in the courtroom or behind the scenes, but in the court of public opinion, where perception spreads faster than truth. For someone so fiercely visible on television, Judith Sheindlin has always kept her personal life just out of reach. But what does life look like for a woman who's spent decades commanding courtrooms, running multi-million-dollar productions, and taking on media empires? It's quieter than you'd expect, but just as calculated. Today, Judy resides primarily in Greenwich, Connecticut, a quiet, upscale enclave far from Hollywood, but close to the kind of order she's always valued. Her estate is private, secure, and luxurious, with multiple other properties under her name, including a sprawling oceanfront home in Rhode Island. She has the means to live anywhere in the world, but she chooses familiarity over flash. It's never been about appearances. It's always been about control. Her daily routine reflects that same discipline. She's up early. She reads obsessively, newspapers, legal journals, and case histories. Despite being semi-retired from her courtroom role, she keeps her mind sharp with legal theory and current affairs. But she isn't dull work. In interviews, she's admitted to loving Law and Order reruns, binge-watching legal thrillers, and even falling asleep to old crime procedurals. Judy doesn't do social media. No Instagram, no TikTok. That's by design. She's uninterested in performative influence. She said before that if you have to post about it, it probably wasn't worth doing. Her influence has never come from digital followers. It came from the authority of her words. What surprises many people, though, is how grounded she is when the cameras are off. Her marriage to Judith Sheindlin, himself a former judge and TV personality, has spanned decades, interrupted only briefly by a short divorce and remarriage. Their relationship is built on shared values, independence, intellect, and wit. Friends describe her as fiercely loyal, shockingly funny, and exactly who you'd expect her to be, minus the gavel. She may have built an empire on courtroom television, but her real power lies in what she doesn't show. In a world obsessed with oversharing, Judge Judy remains a master of restraint, and that, in many ways, is her greatest flex. You'd think, after hundreds of millions in earnings, a Hall of Fame television career, and multiple spin-offs, Judith Sheindlin might finally call it a day. But stepping back has never been her style, because even now, decades after her TV debut, she's still dominating the courtroom genre, whether she's on screen or not. Judge Judy reruns continue to pull in millions of viewers every year across syndication and streaming platforms, even with newer formats like Judy Justice and Tribunal Justice. The original show remains one of the most watched syndicated programs in television history. In fact, episodes from the early 2000s still outperform current daytime shows in some markets. That kind of staying power isn't just impressive, it's unprecedented. But the numbers only tell part of the story. Judy's true legacy is cultural. She made the courtroom accessible. She delivered justice with speed, certainty, and a level of conviction that became her brand. And whether audiences agreed with her rulings or not, they never questioned her authority. That's rare, not just in television, but in life. Younger judges on TikTok and YouTube are now mimicking her cadence. Legal influencers reference her in their videos. Memes, reaction clips, sound bites, they all trace back to her. She didn't just change how legal TV looked, she redefined how people perceive legal truth. What's most remarkable, though, is that she's never chased attention. No flashy scandals, no public meltdowns, just consistency, conviction, and control. She created her lane, and decades later, no one has come close to replacing her. Judy Sheindlin may not be front and center every day anymore, but make no mistake, her voice still echoes in every courtroom show that dares to follow her. And for all the judges, lawyers, and performers who came after her, she didn't pass the torch. She kept it. Judge Judy didn't just host a courtroom show. She built a legacy rooted in authority, clarity, and unapologetic truth-telling. Across decades, formats, and platforms, she never chased trends. She set them. And now, in her 80s, she's doing what most people half her age can't. Staying relevant, commanding attention, and shaping how the public understands justice. But what makes her story even more compelling isn't just the success or the longevity. It's the discipline. Judy Sheindlin didn't reinvent herself for applause. She did it because the world kept changing, and she refused to be left behind. In an era where influence is loud and fleeting, hers has been quiet and permanent. She never needed hashtags or viral moments, just a gavel, a sharp mind, and a clear sense of right and wrong. So maybe the question isn't, where is Judge Judy now? Maybe the real question is, how is she still everywhere, without ever really needing to be seen? And if you've made it this far, maybe you see her legacy a little differently too. Let us know in the comments. What's your take on Judge Judy today? And if you're curious about more courtroom icons, hit subscribe. We've got stories you won't want to miss.